welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Jacqueline and I make new videos every week on a whole variety of things, lifestyle, beauty, adventure, all sorts of fun stuff, and I upload every Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday. And today I wanted to share with you guys my eyeshadow collection. So I've seen this kind of going around on YouTube. I don't know who started it, to be honest, but a lot of people are sharing their eye palette collections, and I decided just to share all of my eyeshadows, so they don't have that much. I tend to try to keep my collection pretty small just because I know I'm not going to wear it all. It just kind of seems like a waste to me, but I do have some great stuff that I want to share with you guys, so I'm going to try to get through this as quickly as possible. But I am going to share all of my cream shadows, my single shadows, as well as all my palettes. So I have a little bit of everything, some high-end, some drugstore, all sorts of stuff. So there's a little bit for everything, and I'll kind of tell you what my favorite is, things maybe I don't use quite as often, maybe things I travel with, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, let's just dive right in. I'm gonna start with my cream shadows because I don't have that much. I've just kind of started experimenting with cream shadows. So let's talk about this NYX one first. So this is the NYX Glitter Goals in the shade Metropical. It's a really beautiful kind of pinky gold or pinky shade. And it's a great liquid eyeshadow as long as you don't try to blend it out. That's kind of the trick. If you put this on, you can kind of blend out the edges, but if you play with it too much, you're just gonna wash away all the color. So it's great for just like a pop of color right on top of your lid. But it's a nice shadow. It's a good price if you want to kind of dip your toe in the glitter liquid shadow world. This is a great place to start. They have some really pretty colors, and I really do love this pink color. It's just a little tricky to work with sometimes. I'll swatch it for you guys. I probably should have grabbed some makeup removing, but that's okay. So you see it there, but see, if you tap it out, like I say, it just kind of goes away, which is annoying. So you definitely want to be careful when you're blending this one, but it's really pretty, and like I said, for the price, it's a great way to start into the glitter world. Something that maybe if you're a little bit more into the glitter and you know you're going to use it a lot, I love these Stila Glitter and Glow liquid eyeshadows. And so I have the shade Kitten Karma, and it's a beautiful, beautiful pink base, but it's got both gold and silver glitter in it. Kind of see. It's just a really pretty color. Again, I'll swatch it for you guys. This one is a little bit more pigmented than the NYX one, and it blends out, in my opinion, a little bit better. If you tap it, you kind of see it's still holding its pigment there, but it's kind of just blending out a little bit more. And I love this for going out, kind of date night. I use this at a couple weddings too, and it looks really pretty on the eye. And what I love about this color is that it's not too crazy of a color. It's a nice pink base, but the glitter in it really gives you that kind of sparkly pop that's great for those sort of things, and they stay on so well. Once they dry down, this does not go anywhere. And so I love that. You don't have to worry about fallout or anything. And I just really love the shade Kitten Karma. I definitely would love to try a few more, but this one is definitely my favorite. All right, and then I have a couple stick shadows. So I'm just gonna share the colors together because they're the same brand. So these are both from the brand Tristique. I think that's how you say it. So I have these little baby size ones, and I have the shades Morimoto Pink Pearl and Kona Coffee. And these are just beautiful cream eyeshadows. These are very pigmented, and I just think they're really, really nice. The brown is very dark and creamy, but they blend out really, really nice and well. This light pink one is almost the shade of my skin. You might have a hard time seeing it. Yeah, you can barely see it. But it just gives it a nice, beautiful sheen. I'm actually wearing the Morimoto Pink on my eyelid today. And I just think they're really nice and beautiful and creamy. They blend out really well. kind of see there. Just, they blend out so well, and I just really enjoy using them. I think if I run out, I would definitely repurchase these. But they're just really nice. And what I love about the stick eyeshadows is that they're really easy to travel with. You can just throw these in your bag and you don't have to worry about them breaking or anything like that, getting all over the place, because they're in the crayon form. And I just think they're really nice and easy to use on the go. One of the other brands that I love for the stick eyeshadows is the Laura Mercier Caviar stick eye colors. So I have 3 of them. I have the shade Gold, which I live. I just talked about the Golds on my monthly favorites. I'm obsessed. I have the shade Raspberry and the shade Plum. And so these are just so pretty. The Gold is right there. I already have a swatch somewhere. It's hard to see. There it is. The Raspberry is a really pretty dark kind of pink purpley color. And the Plum is just a really pretty almost black purple color, and these just stay on the eyes and so well. Once you kind of blend them out and get you where you want them to be, they do not budge. My only problem with these are they don't play well with other products on your eyes. So if you already have maybe some concealer on your eye or some powder, they don't tend to work super great with those things. They work best on a clean eye. But they work really well if you do that, and they blend out really pretty, and you can make some really beautiful looks with these. But gold is definitely my favorite color, or golden is my favorite color. I just think it's so pretty for the summer. It's that nice warm yellow gold color, and I like it because it's not super dark of a color, so it kind of from far away looks like you might not have any eyeshadow on. But when it catches the light the right way, it's just so beautiful and warm, and it just looks like summer to me, and I love it. So these are really great. They're expensive, but I think they are really nice products. So, you know, if you want to splurge, I think they're really good, and I really like them. All right, so let's go on to some single eyeshadows. So again, I'm just going to talk about the brand as a whole, the shadows as a whole. I love these guys. These are the L'Oreal Infallible single shadows. So I have the color Amber Rush and Smoldering Plum, Ice Latte, and Golden Emeralds. And so what I love about these is that they are super pigmented, super creamy, but they stay on your eye so well. My favorite is definitely Amber Rush. I think it's a beautiful color. I'll swatch that one. They can be a little crumbly, so be careful. They kind of get all over the place in terms of like packaging can be, but once you get them on your eye, they don't go anywhere. It's right there. And it's a beautiful pinky warm color, kind of a champagne-y gold pink color, and it's just so beautiful, and it looks beautiful on the eye. It really catches the light so well. It's one of my favorite shadows to wear for like a date night and stuff. They blend out really nicely, so you don't have to worry. Like these darker colors, they blend out really nicely, so if you want a fun pop of color but you don't want it to be too dark, these work really well. The Plum looks really beautiful as like a liner, almost like a smudgy liner. And they all are just super reflective and beautiful. And yeah, I love these things. Every time I'm looking for like a fun color that I know I'm not gonna want like in a whole palette, I'll kind of look at the L'Oreal Infallible shadows to see what they have first. Like I really wanted a green shadow for a look I wanted to try, but I didn't want to buy a whole palette just for one green shade. So that's where these came in, and they work so well. And I love the L'Oreal Infallible shadows. I think they're really nice. And these are also something I love to travel with because you can do like the Amber Rush or the Ice Latte all over the lid and just kind of blend it out. And it's a great one eyeshadow sort of look. So they're great to travel with, and I just love these guys. All right, the other singles I have are all from Colourpop. So I have the Colourpop Super Shock eyeshadows. This one is a matte one in Seeker. I have an Ultra Glitter in Fluffy. I have a matte in Brandy. I have a satin in the color Truth. And I have an ultra metallic in the color Muse. So I know these are like cult favorites. People love Colourpop Super Shock shadows. And I will say that they are good, but they're not my favorite. I think they're a little bit, in my opinion, they're a little bit hard to work with. I don't know if I got some bad ones. Maybe they were dried out or something when I got them. But I still do use them every once in a while. And they are nice shadows. I just think they're hard to work with. I like the ultra metallics better than I like the matte or the satins. I just think the matte and satins don't have quite as much color payoff as I would want them to, especially if I'm using a brush with them. I just find that they don't have as much pigmentation as I would like them to have if I kind of swirl my brush in there and then go in. I don't know if maybe I'm doing something wrong with them, but they're not my favorite single shadows. I'd rather go with like the L'Oreal Infallibles or try something else, but I just don't think they're my favorite single shadows. The metallics are really nice and they are pigmented if you use your finger and kind of tap them on. They're great that way, but I don't always like to do that, and I just find they're a little bit hard for me to work with. So they're not my favorite, but they're good. All right, I'm gonna include these ones in the singles because they're not super big and I wouldn't really call them palettes, but I do love these. So these are kind of e.l.f. duos. I got these in a holiday packaging, but I know they sell these as like duos normally. They're only like a couple bucks and they are great. So I have this one here, it's kind of like a matte cream shade and a darker brown. I have kind of a metallic-y purple and a dark matte purple. And then this one is my favorite. It's a matte pink with a gold metallic. And these are great for eyeshadow looks. Like, you just need these two and they're perfect. So usually I'll take the matte shade in any one of these, to be honest, any of them. I'll take the darker matte shade, oops, and blend that into my crease, and then take the metallic shade either wet on a brush by itself with my finger, however I feel like doing it that day, and taking the metallic and putting it all over my lid, and I'm done. They're perfect eyeshadow looks, and the color combos go great together, and I just think they're so easy and so nice. They're pigmented, but not crazy, that like they're hard to work with or anything. You can definitely use a wet brush on the metallics if you want. And I just think they're great for the price. They're so inexpensive, but they work so well that if you're looking for something easy to just throw in a travel bag or something, these are great. I love to take this one on vacations with me because it just gives you this warm kind of beachy vacation vibe that I love. And I just think it's such a nice duo. So I love these guys. And this purple one's great for like the winter time, I think. It's great. All right, so let's go on to palettes. So I'm gonna start with drugstore price ones and then work my way up. So the first couple I wanna talk about are again from e.l.f. These are their bite-size eyeshadow palettes. And I have the color Rosewater and Pumpkin Pie. I have a whole video about looks I did with these, and I'll leave that video up in the corner and down below in case you're curious. But these are great for the price. I want to say they're $3-4 bucks somewhere in there, and they are great for that price. They're so pigmented. They work so well. You can definitely get a couple different eyeshadow looks out of these if you want. And I just think the color combos are really nice. They have so many different options, something for everybody. I love the Pumpkin Pie one for the summer. It gives you that really pretty warm brown gold sort of look for the summer. That's really pretty. And I love this one. I'm gonna love it in the winter when I want that cooler toned look for the winter. That's how I rotate through my looks. But it's so pretty too. The metallics are the shimmery metallic-y shades are great. The mattes are great. Basically everything about these are amazing. And for the price, like 10 out of 10, they're awesome. I love them. And they're just like a great little bite-sized eyeshadow. I think they're awesome. So I don't have much to say about these except for the fact that they are awesome. So the next two are both from Wet n Wild. They're both the Color Iconic. I think these are their 10 shadow palettes or whatever. I have one in Nude Awakening and I have one in Rose in the Air. And I love these because they're just easy. They're great eyeshadows. They work really well. They're super pigmented and you can do some fun looks with these. I love this Rose in the Air for that bright kind of fuchsia color there and the pink. They're a great kind of supplement on the cheap for other eyeshadow palettes, or maybe you have a single that you want to incorporate some matte shadows with, they're great. And I think you can do a lot of different looks with these. And I think if you're kind of starting off in the makeup world and you want to try some eyeshadow palettes, but you don't want to spend crazy money on like a high-end palette, I think they're great. I know a lot of these are compared with different Anastasia Beverly Hills palettes. I think the Anastasia's ones are honestly a little bit better quality wise, but I'll talk about that in a little bit. But they're great. They have little, like, you can do different looks with them on the back, which is always fun to try. I just think they're great little palettes, and for the price, you can't really go wrong. I don't think they're my favorite palettes ever, but they're good and I do use them. And I like to travel with them because I'm not too worried about them like getting broken or anything. So they're good. Maybe not my favorite, but they are good palettes. And then I have a couple CoverGirl palettes. So the first one, I know they changed the packaging on these, but they are in the same line. These are their True Naked eyeshadow palettes. I have one in nudes and I have one in smoky. And what I like about these is just kind of like the Wet n Wild ones, that they're easy, they're cheap. Maybe if you want to dive into a new color scheme that you're not sure about, these are a great way to go. That's the reason I got this smoky one. I wanted a palette with darker, cool tone, kind of blacks and grays to do smoky eyes with, but I knew I didn't want to spend a ton of money on them because it's just not a look I go for very often, but I want to have that option in my collection. And so that's the reason I got this one, and it's great for that. They're really nice and pigmented and cool toned, but I didn't have to spend a fortune on them to do that. This one I could take or leave. I have other palettes like this and these colors. Again, if you're starting out in makeup, maybe you don't want to spend a fortune or you're on a budget, these are really good palettes. They're really nice. They have great pigment, tons of different options. Again, they're great. I just don't think they're necessary if you already have other palettes. Maybe, you just want to try something new. I would say go for maybe a color scheme you don't already have in these. But again, they're good. I just think they're good for what they are. That sounds bad, but you know what I mean. They're good. They're just not, again, a favorite or anything that I would like. If I got rid of all of my eyeshadow collection, I don't think these would be the first things I'd repurchase, but they definitely are good for kind of stepping outside your box. And then the very last kind of drugstore price eyeshadow palette I have is this Rimmel Magnifies Spice Edition. This might be my favorite drugstore eyeshadow palette. And the reason is they're really great and pigmented. It's a beautiful color palette. And it's not like anything else I have. And I've always wanted to get into this kind of like warmer toned, burnt oranges, reds, that kind of color. They are colors that I personally love. But again, I didn't want to spend a fortune on an eyeshadow palette to kind of get these. Like I was looking at like the Naked Heat sort of palettes, but I didn't want to spend a fortune on eyeshadow palettes at the time. So I was kind of looking up dupes and seeing what else is out there. And I came up with this palette. So I went out and I got it. It's not super expensive and they are great. And I don't feel the need now to spend a bunch of money on like a Naked Heat sort of palette. And I just think they're super beautiful and nice. The colors are pigmented. The shimmers are great. You can see there. Let's see if I have any more room on my hand. They're really nice and pigmented. The mattes are really nice and pigmented too. God, I'm running out of room. Kind of see they're really nice shadows, and I love this one. This is definitely my favorite drugstore eyeshadow palette. I know they have other color versions of this, but if you're looking for something warm and beautiful, this one is so nice, and you don't have to spend a fortune, which is really nice too. All right, so the next few are all from Clinique. I didn't want to put the Clinique ones with the high-end ones because something I love about Clinique, I've always liked Clinique eyeshadow or makeup in general, skincare, and they're nice because they feel higher end and more in like that sort of category, but they're kind of priced in between that category and drugstore, which I really like. So I have some of these quads. I know they sell most of these at Ulta. Some of these are very old. I'm very ashamed by that, but I can't bear to let them go because they're so beautiful and they're so nice. I mean, you can't even see the writing on the back. I'll link similar ones down below in case you're curious about them, but I have this beautiful black with, it's like almost navy in there. It's so, so pretty. I have a beautiful brown one, and I clearly love this color here. It's so, so pretty. And then I have a beautiful, you can tell which one was my favorite. And what I love about these is, again, they're easy. Like, all I need is those four and I have a full makeup look. They're so nice and so beautiful. They're really beautifully pigmented. They blend really well, and they're just easy. For me, Clinique was one of the first sort of makeup brands I got into. And what I always loved about them, including these eyeshadow palettes, is that they're easy. They're kind of foolproof. They work really well, but they're not crazy hard to work with or anything like that. They're easy, beautiful palettes and so simple. I love the kind of 4 quad setup, and I just think they're really, really nice. So maybe if you're kind of looking to dip your toe in a higher end, this is a great way to go. Again, I don't know if they make these exact ones anymore, but Clinique has always had good quality and I always like them. So I'll link similar ones to these down below. But yeah, I always love the Clinique ones. So my last few are all in the high-end category, in my opinion. So the first one is a Naked 2 Basics, and I honestly love this palette. So they just are all mattes, they're all basic colors, but what I love about this is it's something so easy to travel with. And so what I normally do is I'll pack, like, maybe I'll take the L'Oreal Infallible and Amber Rush and this, and I have all I need to do makeup looks. If I just want to do a simple all matte look, I'm good to go. I can pop on a glitter from something else if I want, but it's everything I could need. It has darker colors, it's got transition shades, it's got lighter shades, and they're all matte, so they work really, really well. But it's nice and small and compact. It's got a mirror, and that's what I love this for. If maybe you have like a lot of single shimmer shades and you just need a few mattes to blend and get in the crease and stuff, this is a great way to go. I think if you have a lot of other palettes that are maybe all neutral toned, you don't need this. But like me, I don't have a lot of neutral toned palettes. I have a lot of warm, I have a lot of cool, but I don't have anything sort of neutral, transition-y shade sort of thing. So that's where this comes in, and it's just really nice to have around for those kind of moments. And I just really like it. It's nice and small and compact, easy to travel with. And it's something I reach for a lot, just for those kind of moments where I'm like, wow, this palette doesn't really have that neutral transition shade I want. This is what I reach for. I think this was my first truly high-end palette. This is the Faced Boudoir Eyes. Honestly, I don't use this too much anymore, but it is a really beautiful palette. And what I like about it is you can kind of go across the rows. So like this calls it day, this is classic, and this is fashion. So they kind of lay out like a whole look for you really easily if that's what you want to do. I don't use it that much anymore. I probably should, because it is really, really pretty. It's great. I would use this more again in the winter time. I'm a girl who I love cooler tones in the winter, warmer tones in the summer, and they are really, really pretty. I never think about grabbing it for some reason, and the packaging's kind of bulky and hard to travel with, so I don't often take this traveling with me. It is so nice. They're so beautiful. Too Faced does have great, these kind of like tin box palettes are really, really nice. I don't know. They're just not my favorite anymore, and I haven't bought any more of these, but I do like this one. It's pretty, but I don't think I would spend my money on this again if I like lost all my collection. And finally, something I definitely would spend my money on again if I lost everything, or if this broke or anything like that, I would definitely repurchase this. This is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Soft Glam Palette. This is one of my most traveled eyeshadow palettes. I've used this at weddings, everything. It's so beautiful. I'm obsessed with this. This is exactly what I would wear on a normal basis. It's got some lighter shades, some shimmers, some glitters, and then some deeper shades. And it's just, if you love kind of on the warmer side of neutrals, this is great. I know it looks kind of deep and red, and definitely online, if you're looking at this, it definitely looks more warm toned online than it is in person. but I think it's really, really pretty. I love this for basically everything. It's so beautiful. Like I said, I wore this to weddings before. It's definitely my most traveled palette. I love that the packaging has that nice magnetic closure to it, but it's soft, so I don't feel like it's gonna break as easily as some of my other eyeshadow palettes. It's got a beautiful mirror in there, and it's seriously my ideal palette. That's the reason I haven't bought any other really expensive high-end palettes, is because this one is just perfect for me, and I don't really feel the need to get another one. There are definitely some other eyeshadow palettes I love and would love to own eventually, but honestly, this is just my favorite. Every time I go to pack, I tend to grab this one if I'm gonna pack a palette. It just works really, really well. They're so pigmented, so beautiful, and I just love it. This is my favorite, to be honest. All right, that was all my eyeshadow palettes. I gotta go wash my hands now before I get this everywhere. But hopefully you guys enjoyed that. If you have any questions about any of these, or maybe you have an eyeshadow palette recommendation for me, please leave me a comment. If you enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up. Subscribe if you want to join our little adventure family here. And yeah, I think that's it for this video. So I will see you in my next adventure. Bye.